Alrighty, we are live. Welcome everyone to this Facebook Live for celebrating Sea Scout Day. It is July 9th and it is the anniversary of Sea Scouts. We have been here for 108 years and that is just amazing. It's been a long time. A big misconception about Sea Scouts is that we haven't been around too long, but we've actually been around since almost the beginning of scouting. And so that's just a really cool fun fact. And we're going to celebrate today by doing this Q&A and get everyone to meet our national quarterdeck. And so first we're going to start off with just a few basic questions of everyone. We have myself, my national bosun's mate Martha, our national yeoman Harvey, and then all of our region bosuns. So you get to know everyone today. We're going to run through a few questions just to get to know some basic information, your home ship and council, where you're from, what you're doing in life, your high school, college, things like that. What can we expect from you for this term? What are your goals? And also, what do you plan to complete your vision for the term? And then lastly, what is your favorite fast food? Because that's one of our fun questions that we like to share. I'm going to start off with myself. My name is Aven Alexander, and I am the National Bosun for the 2020 to 2021 term. I'm from East Texas Area Council, and I am from Ship 1 Unique out of Palestine, Texas. I'm a senior in high school in the fall. I hope to go back to school. And right now I work as a lifeguard at the YMCA in my town. This year in the term, I plan to just initiate an improvement in every aspect of Sea Scouts. I want to strengthen youth leadership on every single level, communication, just the growth with registered ships, rank advancement, and everything just needs to be strengthened within our program. And we're going to become just this well-oiled machine. My favorite fast food is Panda Express. I love Whataburger because I am from Texas, but I will drive 40 minutes out of town just to get Panda Express. It's probably my favorite. Next up, we have Martha Fields, my national bosun's mate, and she's going to share all of her info.
Hey guys, Martha Fields. I'm from Sam Houston Area Council. I'm from Ship 1996, Defiant. I'm a rising senior at Katy High School, and I am definitely okay with doing online school this upcoming year, mainly because I go to a public school. My goals for this year are to support Aven and anything and everything that she needs. She's awesome, and I'm really excited to be working with her and the rest of our team this year, as well as overseeing all of our committees. It's kind of my job. I will not be the head of those committees, but I will be reporting what happens back to Aven and the rest of the quarterdeck. Something else I'm trying to do is get involved with some more ships across the country. I would love to come to some of y'all's meetings. So if you want to reach out to me, I would love to just come and visit and hang out and see what you guys are up to. My favorite fast food is Subway. Sorry, Whataburger. Again, yeah, I'm also in Texas, so Whataburger is pretty up there for me, but I do love a good Subway sandwich. And I would introduce the next person, but I don't know. Okay, Harvey. Harvey, yeah, you're up.
Hey everybody, my name is Harvey Morrissey. I'm this year's National Sea Scout Yeoman. I don't have my video on right now because I'm actually at Sea Advanced Leadership Training, or SEAL, at Tampa Bay, Florida. So forgive me for that. But I'm going to be telling you about me now. I'm from North Florida Council. I'm in Ship 116 Oceanus. I'm a high school student, a rising junior this fall, and I'm working at Silver Springs State Park as their dock master for the historic and world famous glass bottom boats. I plan to support the National Quarterdeck by keeping a detailed log for their future use, and I'm growing our social media and communications nationally, contributing to growth overall of this program, and just kind of giving back to the program that's given me a lot. My favorite food is from Zaxby's chicken. You don't see it a lot from a lot of other states. It's more it's southward is where you'll see most of those, but they have really good chicken. So I definitely love that. So I'm gonna be passing this off to the next person.
Hey everyone, I'm James Taylor. I'm the I am the current Central Region Bosun. I was about to say up and coming. That was way back when. Nobody cares about that anymore. So anyway, I'm from the Greater St. Louis Area Council, Ship 9 Ranger. That's roughly, that is in Belleville, Illinois, right next to St. Louis, as kind of stated before. I'm going to be going to University of Missouri this year, Mizzou for some people who know it like that. And I'm going to be attending the Naval ROTC and getting a degree in mechanical engineering. So generally what I'm trying to do this year is, of course, get more activity on social media by having all of our ships in the region actually get pages on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anything they see fit that is scout appropriate as well. I won't have a problem with that either. And of course, I would love to see a lot more area meetings this year. And of course, more collaboration with other programs like venturing and the Order of the Arrow and everything along those lines. And I would, of course, love to attend all those area meetings if I possibly could, and even ship meetings. So please invite me. Anyway, my favorite fast food place is Qdoba. I really enjoy their burritos. I would say Whataburger if I was from Texas, but I've never had Whataburger. So, you know, I'm from the corn-fed Illinois. So anyway, next person.
All right, I'm Jayce Letson. I'm the Western Region Bosun. I'm from Denver Area Council and Ship 444, Ship Centennial. I'm a rising junior in high school, and I'm part of the varsity track and football team. And one of my big goals this year is to reconnect with the venturing and OA programs and to create an annual event for every type of scouting program within the Western region. And another goal I have is to create an annual training for the regional officers so that they can be as best prepared for their term as a part of the region Quarterdeck. And I've officially finished that as of right now, and it'll be happening on July 19th and July 20th. It'll be a Facebook Live event, so if you do want to come out and see that, you're more than welcome to. And I'm in Colorado, so one of my favorite fast food places is Chipotle. So, all right, I'll hand it off to Nathan now.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so I am Nathan Calzat. I'm the Southern Region Bosun, which we all know is the best region. I'm from Greater Tampa Bay Area Council, from Ship 955 Guy Harvey. Currently, I'm in high school and I'm simultaneously working on my AA degree to get it when I graduate, wanting to major in physics and minor in math. My big goals for the year are to promote an initiative I've started called the Think Outside the Boat Initiative, which is to influence more creative ideas for ships and ships themes, starting things like marine biology ships, more airboating ships, things like that that you don't typically see, so that way we can have more ships in drier areas. I'm also planning a few events along with my bosun's mate for the region. We've already got one that we're planning, hopefully coming up in November, and we've got a few more ideas as well, and that goes along with the whole think outside the boat thing. And just like Jayce, him and I are on the same wavelength a lot of the time. My favorite fast food place is definitely Chipotle. I feel like you get the most bang for your buck. Plus, I feel kind of healthy when I eat there. So I'm going to pass it over to Pascale.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm the Northeast Region Bosun, Pascale Couch. I'm from the National Capital Area Council. My ship is Ship 27, the SSS Whisper. I'm a college sophomore studying zoology, and I work at a horse riding academy. So two of my goals that I wanted to do are work on the communication between the regional and area bosuns to make a stronger and more open community. I want it to be an open place where people feel free to contact me and talk about any problems that they're having and anything that's going on. And I want to spread the Sea Scout program by by developing innovative ways to educate the members of other Scouts BSA programs. Somebody put their thing right in front of mine where I was trying to read. And the general public. And also my favorite fast food place is Chipotle, like the last two people. I'm going to pass it back to Aven, I believe.
Thanks, Pascale. So that is the team, all of our region bosuns and the rest of our national quarterdeck. We have an amazing team this year. Everyone's just completely amazing in their own way. We've seen some strong leadership, great goals and initiatives so far, and we're moving in a fantastic direction for the year. Now it's Q&A time. We're going to be taking questions. If you have questions you'd like to submit, you can go in the live chat on the Facebook Live or the Google form where the link is on Facebook, and you can utilize those two different things. You can direct your questions towards one person. You can direct them towards the whole team. They can be really serious. They can be kind of silly. We're just going to take a wide variety of questions. So now we're going to get going.
All right, I have our first question for everybody that we're going to go ahead and throw in. It's from Chris from Tuscan. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, Arizona, ship 822. His question's for anybody. What's your favorite mustard? Starting off with the good ones.
Okay, personally, I don't like mustard. That's just me. I'm going to popcorn over to Martha.
I'm with you too, Aven. I don't like mustard really that much either, but if I did, I would like honey mustard because I really like honey. And I'm going to pass it to James.
I don't often think about what my favorite mustard is, but if I were to pick, I guess just normal everyday mustard, because I like to consider myself above average on things, but you know what? When it comes to mustard, I'll go for average. Anyway, I'll popcorn over to Jayce.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, James and Aven. I'm not the biggest fan of mustard, but when I do use it, I guess I use the general store-bought generic brand. I mean, I didn't know there's like some special mustard type. So good luck, Nathan.
No, I don't know what's up with you guys not liking mustard. I'm quite the mustard connoisseur myself. Big fan of honey mustard, of course, stone ground, yellow mustard, Dijon, dill, but above all else, I'm a big fan of the German sweet and spicy mustard. That is my favorite. I put that on everything, even my hot dogs. So
All right.
I'll pass it over to
All right,
Pascale.
Nathan. That's an interesting answer. This is the next question is from Miss Garcia.
Pascale, Harvey.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Pascale. Sorry about that.
Okay, I don't really have anything to add besides the fact that I also dislike mustard, probably with more of a burning passion than a lot of people. It just, why is it yellow? I have some questions.
You're in the odd majority, or the odd minority, I should say, is what it seems. So next question is from Miss Garcia from Canton, Georgia, ship 100. This question's for anybody. What's the best advice you have for new leaders? And I guess we'll start with our national bosun if you have an answer.
My best advice to really anyone in Sea Scouts is drive the boat. It's something that one of my adult mentors told me at my very first Sea Scout event, and he kind of meant it literally. I went out on a boat for the very first time, and he asked me if I took the helm, and the answer was no, I did not. And he just encouraged me every single time you get on a boat, make it a point to take the helm and drive the boat. But you can also do that with any leadership opportunity, anything like that. Drive the boat, take the lead, just say yes to the open doors and take chances, and just take advantage of all the opportunities that Sea Scouts has to offer. So I would say anytime you can apply for a leadership position, whether it's your ship or area, council, whatever you want, just I'd say go for it and drive the boat. I'm going to pass over to Martha.
Leadership advice, that's a very broad topic. I'm going to have to go with, remember that servant leadership is very, very important. As leaders, it's our jobs to serve those that we're leading. We're not above anybody else. We're here to help enable others. And that's kind of what our job as a national quarterdeck is to enable youth within ships and ships themselves to succeed and do whatever they want to do in Sea Scouts. So yeah, that's my piece of leadership advice. James?
I think the best thing I could possibly tell anyone is be as persistent as possible with everything. The only way I've gotten anything that I have ever achieved was by working very hard on it. And of course, encouraging other people to keep going as well. And that's really what makes a leader, is definitely bringing everybody along with you, and in fact, pushing them ahead. Jayce?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on James a tiny bit. The way I think about it is to be a leader, you have to be a follower. And the best way to do that is to I put in countless hours of work every single week into the Sea Scout program alone, but that doesn't get any sort of recognition, and that's okay. That's probably the best part. Is I don't want people to see all the behind the scenes work. I want them to see, I was able to motivate these people to do the same thing I can do, but I did so in a way where I'm not being overbearing in any way, shape, or form. So Nathan, on to you.
The one thing that I always try and keep in mind whenever I'm doing something like this, any type of leadership role, is to learn from the past and create the future. So look at what's been done before you, see how it's been done, what was done right and what was done wrong, and then create something new from that. Take inspiration. You never need to reinvent the wheel, but also don't just copy what's been done before you. Try something new. It keeps things interesting and fun. Pascale?
So I'm last, so everybody said what I wanted to say, but I'm going to say a few things that I think are really important that stood out. Servant leadership is how Scouts BSA, we all try and be a servant leader. We are taught that in ILSS and we're taught that in NYLT. It's a huge thing, I think. I also think that working in a team, because being a leader isn't just you being this high up person, it's you and your team. And you're just kind of there to like hold it together, but it's really about pushing them forward and going ahead with that. I also do think that, wow, I just blanked. So I'm gonna give it to Harvey.
Those are really great answers, team. So I'll go ahead and go to the next question. The next question's from Jack Nicholas from Cypress, Texas, from ship 846. His question specifically for the National Boatswain Aven. His question is going to be, what was your pathway for becoming the National Sea Scout Boatswain?
My pathway, wow, that's insane. I actually joined Sea Scouts through a friend. I never in a million years thought I would be in a scouting program, let alone the Boy Scouts of America, the BSA. I was the kind of person who saw Girl Scouts at Walmart selling cookies, and I was not interested whatsoever. I didn't see a point. I was just not really interested until a friend one day invited me to a Sea Scouts meeting, and I was like, wow, that sounds kind of cool. So I just went and really just fell in love with the program from the first minute I set foot in it. My first meeting, people were saying words like bosun and sunfish. I had no idea what was going on, but from the first event I went to, I was hooked. And I then on started building up leadership within my ship. I became yeoman the first term I could, bosun's mate for like 3 terms, was just recently the bosun of my ship. I worked my way up that way. And the first chance I got to apply for area bosun, I took it and I didn't get it. And it was kind of a heartbreaking moment because I had set my eyes on this leadership position that I wanted. And I really didn't take that hardship for, just giving up or anything. I still continued to work on myself and my ship and putting into whatever I could, putting into my community through scouting, doing service projects, everything like that, just doing the best I could. And then the next year I applied for area bosun again and I got the position. And that was just really an opening doors, a foothold for me. I would say to anyone, I encourage you, apply for council or area bosun when the time comes. There's such just great responsibility, great way to introduce yourself into leadership. I would say it would prep anyone for any kind of college, anything like that, just the experience that it gives you. And I never thought I would be the national bosun. I kind of just joked around with my skipper and my adults in my ship, and I would kind of say, oh, how cool would it be to be the national bosun and go to report the nation? That would be kind of cool. And then the time came around to apply for national bosun this year, and an adult who really just encourages me and believed in me said, it's time to fill out the application, so let's get it done. And I thought, well, okay, let's see. And just throughout the application process, I just became really attached to the idea of becoming this leader for the nation. And whenever I did my interview, I think that was the most anxiety I've ever had in my life. I was sweating. I was just so nervous, but it went really well. And then I can't even explain the feeling I had when I got the call saying I got it. I was I was excited, I was terrified, I was ecstatic, just a whole different just level of emotions. But now I'm here and the shoes are breaking in, and it's just such an honor, but also it seems like I was just really made for a leadership position like this. And I'd say to anyone who is on the quarterdeck, they deserve to be here. They are all natural born leaders. And anyone who wants to take on leadership positions, go for it, apply, do the interview process. You can only learn from it. And the worst they can say is no. And that's not even one of the worst things they can say to you. So I would say just go for it. And I've had nothing but good positive outcomes from all the leadership I've taken on in Sea Scouts.
That was a great answer, Aven. All right, so on to our next question from Brandon Young. He's from Ship 27 here in Greater Tampa Bay Area Council. His question specifically for our Southern Region bosun, Nathan. He wants to ask, with the number of program cancellations, can the Southern Region coordinate for a provisional charter long cruise that individual Sea Scouts can pay to attend, including training or on ranked requirements?
I think that's a really good question. And, I think it's always been brought up, when ships can't do long cruises, how are we going to do it? I know specifically from Greater Tampa Bay, because I'm from that council, I think it might be, I think it's out of the scope for the Southern Region to run a long cruise, because the Southern Region oversees 13 states. So that means there's two possibilities. Either one, no one's going to come to it because it's in a place where most of our people can't come to, or two, too many people are going to come to it. So I do like the idea though, and I think that that is something that would be worthwhile to reach out to your area or maybe even your council bosun, because I know Greater Tampa Bay is very strong in Sea Scouts and there's a lot of ships there. So that's something that you might want to reach out to them about. See if you can work with them on it. And if you're really passionate about it, there's no reason why you can't take the helm on it. Like Aven said, drive the boat. So I think it's a great idea, and I definitely would approve of it, but probably not at the regional level now.
All right, so next question is from Jack Nicholas. He's from Cypress, Texas, ship 846. This question is already been asked, so we're going to move on to the next one. All right, so next question is from our own Jordan Alexis, based in Long Beach, California, ship 550. This question's for anybody. She asks, what struggles do you perceive you will face throughout your term?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start us off. I think that a big struggle that we could face is burnout. That's kind of the obvious one. It's something that everyone struggles with. It's something that you can struggle with outside of scouting. A lot of people get it with school academics. Just whenever you get stuck in the same routine, you get to this mindset of it's hard to get out of this rut whenever you fall into it of I don't feel like doing this anymore, or I'm tired of reading these emails, I'm tired of doing these Zoom calls. But as the team, we really try to motivate each other, and that's how we're kind of trying to prevent that, is stay positive. We lean on each other when we need it, and that's kind of how we avoid that situation. I would say that's the biggest issue we're going to face, but everybody struggles with something different. We're going to switch it up, and I'm going to popcorn over to Pascale first.
Was it because I answered badly last time? Okay, I'll answer good this time. I honestly do think, and this is going to be a really basic answer, but we all know that we are going through a pandemic. I do think that COVID is going to be a difficult thing for all of us. I know that we all have had events that have been canceled in scouting, and I do think that's just going to be something that we're going to have to face throughout all of our terms here at the National Quarterdeck. But, I do think that there's a lot of things that we can do to get around this issue. So I don't see it as so much of an issue, but it is something that we all are aware of, and it is a little bit disappointing when our events get canceled. So I'm going to popcorn it over to Nathan then.
I think that there's a lot of issues we can face, but I think the biggest one that's going to be for me is kind of turning everything around. Just because pretty consistently stuff is like membership and everything's been going down. I'm not going to get in like nitty gritty or whatever, but I just think kind of this term is going to be pumping the brakes on that and getting things going a little bit more smooth. So the next year stuff can go up. So I think turning that around, getting more ships chartered, that's my big deal for this year. So, it just might be more difficult in some areas. There might not be knowledge or interest in Sea Scout in some places, and there needs to be. I'll pass it over to James.
As stated before, there's obviously a lot of problems that a leader can face, especially in a position like this. Of course, for me, I think, of course, beyond getting past the trope of Central Region having a very high lack of water, and not everybody wants to get in on that, but I think honestly, just getting the gears going in Central Region alone is going to be difficult, but I have high confidence that we'll be able to do it. I think things have been in the Central Region have been a little slow in the past, and I think definitely promoting a lot of more of the program and actually getting it out there, like getting our people to really get more excited about the program is something I am so happy that I have. I mean, I have a lot of confidence that I can do that. I really want to help them out. So, Jayce.
So similar to what Pascale said, I feel like COVID is going to be a big factor. I'm trying to work around that right now. And one thing that I feel like is almost a necessity in any scouting program is events, like in-person events, because it's way more fun in person. You get to interact with more people on a personal level if need be. And I feel like that's one of the big factors that's going to be pretty hard to deal with this year. And I'm trying to work around that this year. One of those things being my live orientation, July 19th to 20th, be there. But I feel like that's the biggest problem for me. Martha?
Before I answer this very interesting question, Jack, hi, thank you for asking questions. You're awesome. I get the amazing joy of seeing you every single week at 846 ship meetings. So stay happy, stay smiling. Take what Aven said and what Nathan said and put them together, and that's my answer. As far as COVID goes, I like to see it more as a challenge rather than an issue. We don't have to compete with band and soccer and football right now to entertain kids, because those things aren't happening right now. So I personally think scouting is wonderful right now because we're giving kids kind of a sense of normality. We're still having scout meetings. We're still having events, even though they're not in person. And I just kind of want to add that perspective on the whole COVID situation. Harvey, what's our next question?
All right, so those were great answers, team. So next question is going to be from, when it loads, when it decides to go ahead and load. All right, so next question is from Lauren Clomey. She does not provide her area, but the question is specifically for myself. And the question is, what are the jobs and responsibilities of the National Sea Scout Yeoman? The main responsibilities that I found are that it's basically, helping out with the national, obviously, kind of like any other yeoman from your ships. You keep a log of your ship meetings. I keep a log of the National Quarterdeck meetings. They're a bit more high impact, I would say, a little bit quicker. But, it's, definitely something, it's a great learning experience for me. And the other responsibilities, I've been working a lot with doing communications, trying to grow that, and also social media. Our Instagram page hadn't been used too much, and if you've looked at it for the last 3 months, we've had multiple posts, and I've just been trying to I guess you could say up that, try to get that going a little bit better, and then Facebook as well, all that sort of stuff. And just trying to be a liaison between other scouts in this National Quarterdeck, trying to get things set up where we can answer your questions and kind of try to help out where I can, more or less. I'm kind of the middle man trying to help out where I can with the Quarterdeck. That's the main responsibilities of the National Yeoman. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next question. Next question is going to be from Daniel Harris, Seattle, Washington, Unit 97. So this question is for anybody. The question is, what link do I enter to join? So we're gonna move on to the next question because I will send that over. Next question is gonna be from Lily Garcia, Cannon, Georgia, ship 100. For anybody, what advice do you have for new leaders or leaders that wish to develop his or her skills? And I think we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but any additional points to that, anybody?
Yeah, I would say if you missed that, go ahead and look back. We had some really great information from each and every person, but just a few highlights. Don't be afraid to take leadership opportunities. Servant leadership is utmost important. You have to really support your team to be a great leader. Know your team to know what they need. Nathan, our Southern Region bosun, does a great job at that. He knows what each individual area in his region needs, and he tailors those needs in order to be a good leader for them. So really just knowing who you're leading and just being bold. Don't be afraid to take leadership positions on. I say just go for it, drive the boat. We've said that several times, but I would say just be courageous. Don't be afraid to lead.
All right, that's a great answer. And so the next question is from Eli. He's from ship 5297 from Illinois. This question is for anybody. And you can ask, who's the funniest out of the team? And please tell your best joke. So I'm not exactly sure.
Can someone else go first? I need time to prepare.
I think our funniest person is probably Owen, and he's an adult, so he's not speaking tonight. Anybody else? Nathan thinks he's funny.
This is a very bold question. We
I don't
all
know.
have our own like moments of great comedy. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I thought of one. This is my favorite joke. It really has to happen in a conversation. It's more of like a roast than a joke. But you tell someone, like if I were talking to Martha, I would say, hey, they said you look like an owl. And she would say, who? And it's funny. But yeah, I love that joke. That's all
That's
I
just
have.
that Aven is not the funniest person in the group.
Yeah, and that's as far as Aven goes, guys.
Sorry.
I'm the meme king of the group. I'm just gonna say this now. I am the meme king.
Yeah.
Follow me on
That's
Facebook.
Jayce.
I will totally
yeah,
hook you up with some legit.
I saw that one earlier.
Almost 2,000 memes on his Facebook page.
That would be
Exactly
Jayce.
2,000. Exactly 2,000 today.
James and I have
Okay,
a
guys, so-
collab album now. We're memes volume 2. We're coming out, dropping this summer. So look out.
Does anybody else have
We're
any
a fun
jokes?
group.
Yeah, does anybody have any jokes? We're definitely funny on the fly. If you attend a meeting with all of us, we have a great time. I don't know if anybody else has any like actual
You ask of
jokes.
us to think of something, then like we all just
Yeah.
brain fart and can't think of anything.
In case no one has been able to tell any of the participants, this is not scripted out. We're totally on the fly.
Yeah,
here, so-
no, this is definitely live. I make a lot of nautical puns. I think it's just a Sea Scout thing, though.
That's true.
I do.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, if anyone has any jokes, interject them. If not, for the time being, if you have any, think of them. Then we'll go ahead and go back to that question. Next question is from Abby Freeman from ship 100 in Canton, Georgia. And I believe she asked one earlier, or from the same ship, but that's okay. This question is for anybody. What is your favorite type of boat to sail? And I know you're not all sailors, but I know a lot of you are. So what's your favorite boats to sail if you do sail?
I can go first. I would say my favorite one is a Sunfish, just because I have the most experience on it. I sail Sunfish out at Sea Base Galveston all the time because that's where my ship goes for events. I have sailed one by myself, and I'm confident to do that. I can flip it back over if I capsize, and it's just like right in my wheelhouse. But I have sailed much larger things than that, but that's probably my favorite. Martha, you want to go next?
I love Sunfish, but I'm kind of a big boat person. My ship has a hunter, but it breaks a lot, so I'm not gonna say a hunter. My favorite big boat that I've been on is an Almond. I would say J-boat, but Skipper Freeze won't like that, so I won't say J-boat. So James.
Honestly, okay, so I don't sail a whole lot. The most I sailed was definitely during SEAL. But I think between like Sunfish and, of course, this is like a pretty decent difference, but between like Sunfish and like a 420 or a J70, stuff like that, you know, like I enjoy those. I'm more of a paddlecraft guy, but you know, still.
I guess I'll go next. I'm similar to Aven with the Sunfish. I'm able to rework it if it capsizes by myself, and that's something I find a big bonus. But I'm also with James. I don't sail a whole lot. I'm in a landlocked state, the great state of Colorado, so I don't get to go sailing a whole lot. So I'm also a big paddlecraft guy, and when it comes to paddlecraft, I'm more of a kayak person. So Nathan.
Yeah, my favorite type of vessel to sail is the canoe. Just like James and Jayce, I'm more of a paddlecraft guy myself. I like kayaks, but I prefer canoes. I like having the two people team up. Sometimes, at least, sometimes it's not that much fun. Yeah, I've never sailed a day in my life, so I'll pass it on to Pascale.
So, a fun fact, I really hate falling into the water. I'm very afraid of kicking a fish with my foot. It scares me all the time. So, my absolute favorite boat I have ever sailed is the boat that my ship personally owns, which is the 22-foot Catalina sailboat, because that thing will not capsize. When I was on a Sunfish, I was so scared I would lose a race if it meant I didn't have to capsize. I was so scared of it. I don't want to kick a snapping turtle. It scares me. Okay, next question.
I think, does that cover everybody, or am I missing anyone for that one?
That was everyone.
All right, so we're gonna move from the Google form onto more of the live questions that have been asked on Facebook, and we got quite a few of them. I know we're running out a little bit low on time, so let's go ahead and get through these, try to get their answers as well. So I'm not gonna do the, can you say that again, Aven?
I said speed round.
Yeah, speed round. So yeah, like one person answer, then we go to the next question. And I'm not going to say any names and locations anymore because they're kind of not evident on the live chat. So questions are, we got a brand new ship, ship 52 in the Northeast region. How often do you all suggest to do ILSS?
I think that's for
Pascale. Hi. So it just really depends on your ship in general. It depends if you're just attending them. Like I know, so in the Northeast region, you might have heard that we did the online ILSSs. That was run by me, but but it just really depends. Like if you're doing them for your ship specifically, I really do suggest that you're doing it multiple times a year, just because more new members that come in, ILSS is such a base to everything that a ship does. So I do recommend that you're doing it whenever you get in, you know, a couple new members, and you just sit them down for a day or over a few weekends and do an ILSS. That's how I do it.
And something else that's really good is that once you do ILSS, teach it. I took ILSS within the first 4 months I was in my ship, and every ILSS after that I've taught, and you learn so much more from teaching.
Okay, so next question on the live chat is going to be, how difficult is it to be the National Sea Scout bosun?
I would say it depends on the person. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Definitely, I had a culture shock with all of the emails that I get. I spend probably at least an hour each day reading emails and replying to them. It's something I was not used to. But then again, I've had natural born leadership for almost my whole life. So running meetings and everything comes very naturally to me. And I'm the person who will take things into their own hands and do it themselves. I've had to learn to delegate. I lean on Martha a whole lot. I love her. She does so much for me. And the team is just great. So I would say I've been doing great so far. I've been very comfortable with my job and I love it. And it's just been going good. I would say it's not difficult. It can just be challenging, but you learn from it and you keep going.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and go to this next one. I think it's a really, really great question, so I wanted to get it in there. Daniel Harris says, when I joined Sea Scouts 6 months ago, I discovered that Sea Scouts is one of the best kept secrets in the scouting programs. What does this statement say to you guys?
Is it okay if I take this one? Anybody else? Okay, cool. So this is something that I've said several times to the Quarterdeck. There's this video out there that the Seattle, Washington SEAL made. I went to SEAL in Seattle. I loved it. So whoever had the question from Seattle earlier, shout out to you. But I watched this video before I went to Seattle SEAL, and it was this video, and it was like Sea Scouts, the hidden gem of scouting, and it talks about how the program has been as long for almost as long as the Scouts BSA program. We are having our 108th anniversary today, but it's considered a hidden gem, which implies that it is a great program. It is a gem. It is unique. It's special, but it is a kept secret, and a lot of people don't know about it, which is an issue because we want our program to go and we want our program to be known. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want people to know what the blue uniforms are. We want to be seen at events and recognized and known for just being a Sea Scout. And so we are really trying to break that stereotype. We want Sea Scouts to be the gem of scouting, not a hidden gem. We want to be known. And so that's why we're really trying to promote our presence through social media during this time of COVID. And we're trying to get the word out there to not only general public, but we're also connecting with our counterparts with the OA and venturing. We want us to become more well-known in a grown program. So we're really trying to break the stereotype, but that's the answer to the question. So thanks, Harvey.
I think that's a really great answer. So here's the next question. This one comes, I think, from Brandon Young again, from over here in the Greater Tampa Area Council, actually where I'm at. He asked, again, how many times have you guys been hit by a boom while sailing? He said, I know I've been doing it a couple times.
I was hit once, and I never made the mistake ever again. It took one time to learn. My head hurt so bad, and every time after that, I duck way too far. Let's go over to James.
At least 3 times. Like within my entire career in Sea Scouting, I've been hit with a boom at least 3 times because I don't learn very easily sometimes. I am starting to learn. So next person, Jayce.
The very few times I've been on a sailboat, the first time actually I was getting sailing merit badge in my troop. I go out into the water and it was me and my friend, and we had just learned every part of a sailboat. And then next thing I know, I get nailed in the face with the boom. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you warn me? And then 5 minutes later, I get nailed again. So I take it careful now. I'm definitely 2 feet onto the boat, and it's very low now. Nathan?
Well, obviously, it's been 0 times for me, but I have experienced someone sink a canoe one time, which I did not think was possible. So, yeah, I'll pass it on to Pascale.
So for the Coke Cup qualifiers, we had to wear helmets because so many kids got hit with the boom. I personally got hit with it way too many times because I was very upset about capsizing. So I was willing to get hit with the boom in the head with the helmet versus capsize because, once again, I don't want to kick a fish. Okay, Harvey.
Oh, wait, we still
All right.
have Martha.
Okay.
Countless times, and it will be countless more times. It's not that I don't learn fast. I am just a very, very big klutz. Yeah, I trip over nothing. So, Harvey.
Yeah, Martha, I know you're a pretty regular sailor too, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing sailing this next week as well. But I get hit in the head with the boom a lot more when I'm on smaller boats, not so much the bigger ones. You kind of have a bigger, you're less of a chance there, I would think. But the smaller, like FJ sailing, when I used to do that, I got hit in the head all the time. It hurt a lot, but you eventually learn from it. So here's the next one. This isn't so much of a question as it is a comment on our Facebook Live, and it got a lot of attention, so I thought I'd bring it up. And they commented and said, it's amazing to see so many females in the leadership positions, especially in this group, the National Sea Scouts. So I thought Aven, Martha, and Pascale, if you wanted to comment on that a bit, I'll hand it over to you guys.
I would say first, just thank you for noticing. If you look at the venturing NVOA, they're as well half and half. And so it works well for us. We obviously work well all together, and I would say just thanks for noticing. Pascale, Martha, y'all have anything to add?
Go ahead, Martha.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. But it's awesome to see equality, but I don't think it's so much about gender as it is leadership, just people's personality types and stepping up and doing stuff. So, Pascale.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's a big thing for us all to be here, and I think it's a really, really amazing thing that we're all here. We all worked very hard to be here in general, so we're very excited to all be on
Yeah,
the
shout out to the guys too. So
Yeah, honestly, all of us have worked really hard, and that's why we're all here, female and male. Okay, Harvey.
Yes, our whole team's great.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team's great, and that's the whole point of this whole Scout Me In movement is it's for everybody. Scouting is a whole team thing. It's not a one person, and that's the whole thing about this is another thing you have to realize about this National Quarterdeck is it's not a bunch of individuals. We are a team, and everybody contributes pretty evenly, I would say. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to this next question from Chris from ship 5131, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And this question's for anybody. They ask, what advice would you give to both youth and adults wishing to promote sea scouting in landlocked areas with few bodies of water? And I'll take a little bit, I'll lead on this first because I've been working to get Nebraska sea scouting starting up with Skipper Paul McDonald and Commodore Kurt Ware, and we're doing a great job trying to get that going. We have some other events coming out pretty soon to help with that. But does anyone have any other comments?
I think we should hear from James or Jayce because they have a lot of experience with this. Do one of y'all want to take the lead?
I'll start off. So me being in a landlocked state, even the way we promote sea scouting is through our paddlecraft and all these other types of things. We're going to hopefully go to sea base next year, and we sponsor that very heavily so that we can get more initiative into our ship. But we also go out to a place called Wellington Lake here and there, and we go in canoes, kayaks, paddle boards, all that other stuff, rowboats, and it's you're able to do all the same things, but you're just not on the ocean. So the way I would promote it is, come have a day of fun on the water, pretty much. You're pretty much just going out, learning stuff, and then having fun. James?
Yeah, honestly, wear your blue, show your worth, pretty much do everything you can. And of course, people say that kind of stuff all the time. But honestly, there's so much, amazing things that we do besides just like going out on the ocean. So like, if it's aquatic based, we can do it. Like send your people to summer camp staff. They can be on aquatic staff. They can be doing whatever as long as they're wearing blue. And that's awesome. In fact, really cool. So, Harvey.
Oh wait, I have something to say. So first of all, shout out to Chris. That's my Area 8 bosun. Keep up the good work. But I mean, think outside the boat, man. That's what I say. There's activity everywhere. It doesn't have to be sailing. It doesn't even have to be canoeing or kayaking. You go out to the YMCA and start a swimming ship. It's that easy. So figure out what the kids in the area like to do. Talk to them. Call up some friends that you have around there, and see what they want to do, and then work with them and get that started. Go ahead, Martha. I see you.
can I just say fishing real quick? Like it's not something that we typically do, but it's starting to get more rolling in Sea Scouts. So give fishing a try.
Fishing is great. It especially works in the southern region because we're all about fishing down here as country folk. All right.
A lot of fishing in Florida. Yeah, no. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to this next question. We'll probably do a couple more, and then we'll try to wrap this up. So the next question is from Lily Garcia again, from Ship 100. She asked for anybody, what's your favorite part of being a Sea Scout? She says, sorry, I'm asking so many questions, a bit of scout geek. Well, we all are. That's why we're sitting here answering your questions at this time of night. So yes, what's your guys' favorite part of being a Sea Scout?
I think my favorite part of being a Sea Scout is definitely the leadership aspect, but also public speaking. I know that's not really something you would expect from Sea Scouts, but I went to a great event for all Scouts called Aquatic School. It's here in Texas, and we do heavily work on public speaking. I would not be able to stand up in front of a crowd, or let alone hundreds of people on Facebook and give a speech or any kind of talking for that matter, unless I joined scouting. So I credit that, and it's going to help me for the rest of my life. Getting out on the water is cool too. I love the water, I always have, but that's one of my favorite things about it. I'll go over to Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, but one of the benefits of the program kind of being the size that it is that it's a pretty tight knit community. So I really like that. I mean, I know Sea Scouts from all over the state of Florida, and then of course, I know kids from like every state in the southern region, and I even know some kids up in the northeast, the western, and the central region too that are Sea Scouts. And it's just because it's a pretty tight knit group. When you see a Sea Scout, they really stick out. It's not like when you see a member of Scouts BSA and they look like everyone else. So I'll pass it to Jayce.
I love two things specifically about Sea Scouts. One of them being the uniforms. Personally, blue is my favorite color, and getting to wear this navy blue shirt all over is just amazing. I'm a big fan of that. And another part is the water activities. I didn't realize how much I liked the ocean until I went to Sea Base, and I did a tall ship ocean exploration type trek. So I went snorkeled reefs and all that stuff. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the program. Martha?
Two things. But before I say that, huge shout out to Aquatic School, class of 19. Good ship Hydra, let's go. Number one, the maritime ocean nautical aspects. I want to be in the Navy. I'm applying to the Naval Academy in Annapolis. It's my dream. And I love the ocean. I always have. So being in Sea Scouts is just taking that to the nth degree for me. The second would probably be the people. Nathan kind of stressed the tight-knit community. I completely agree, like 110%. I know Sea Scouts across the country, across the world. Like we have Sea Scouts in New Zealand. Go watch the podcasts. And it's just awesome to get to see those people from across the nation at annual events, because we all just have this love of the water and love of the program. And that's what is the common factor between all of us. We can all be as different as we want, but ultimately that's what brings us together. And I think it's amazing. So who's in gone? Pascale?
James.
Oh.
Yeah, James and Pascale.
Either one.
Okay, I just like to say, honestly, one of my favorite parts about scouting in general, but specifically Sea Scouts, is how many opportunities we're given. When we come into these positions, when we come into Sea Scouting in general, we have so many options to do so many different things. There's scuba diving ships, there's fishing ships, there's sailing ships, there's all these different types of opportunities that we're given. And then we have all of these other different things, like we get all this leadership experience. We get so many things handed to us, and it's such a wonderful thing for anybody who doesn't do sports or doesn't do anything like that, and they want something different and they want to be on the water like Martha. Like, this is such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that we're given. And it's such a wonderful place. I love all of Sea Scouts in general. All right, James?
I think, honestly, this program has given me a lot of confidence over the years. And beyond that, I always feel like I'm in a very large family whenever I'm around Sea Scouts, especially with National Quarterdeck in my own home ship. But I don't think I'd be planning on going in the Navy, let alone what I plan on doing in the Navy, which is Navy Special Warfare. I don't think I'd be planning on doing that if I didn't go into Sea Scouts.
Yeah, great point. And actually, that kind of brings me to my point of with this as well is, I mean, without having been in Sea Scouts, like I want to go and enlist in the United States Coast Guard, and I want to serve in that capacity and probably do either public affairs or be a bosun's mate, tried and true, and do that sort of thing. But without Sea Scouts, one wouldn't be at my job probably that I'm at now. I'd probably be flipping burgers in some McDonald's, as most teenagers do at this age for an extra dime. But no, I get to work on a boat dock, and without that experience, I wouldn't be able to do that. And going into the Coast Guard as well, and obviously leadership experience. I get to sit on the National Quarterdeck with these amazing people and learn some really cool stuff. And again, not possible without the Quarterdeck. So really grateful for that. And I think that's kind of encompassing everything that this has kind of given us. So next question that's going to be coming from Captain Kathy from Sea Scout ship Heatwave. She asks, are any of the National Quarterdeck scuba certified?
I'll start us off. I'm not. I've always wanted to scuba dive. If anybody were to invite me, I would try so hard to go. I've always wanted to. I That would be so great. But I'm not certified. Is anybody else? Martha,
Working on that. We're trying to get it set up for our ship so that we can be scuba certified. That's something I want to do and probably will have to do eventually. So
anybody else have any scuba experience? James?
I have done a lot of scuba, or a decent amount of scuba, but I cannot remember for the life of me if I'm actually certified or not. So, but yeah, anyway, anyone else?
Yeah, everybody else shaking their head. We can go back to you, Harvey.
Nathan and I are new.
Yeah, so I'm not scuba certified. I'm gonna try to do it, obviously, but where I'm located geographically kind of makes sense. But obviously I'm not right now, but I'm definitely gonna go ahead and give that a shot if I can. So next question comes. So next question is, what is your most terrifying moment in Scouts generally? So I guess that could mean most nervous experience or scaredest experience as far as an activity.
Okay, I know exactly how to answer this one. I went to SEAL last summer in Seattle. The whole entire trip was terrifying for me. It was my first time ever on an airplane. I had to fly from Texas to Seattle. I had never been on an airplane before. I had to fly by myself. It was an ordeal. And the minute I got there, I found out that the very next morning would be my day as bosun because my last name starts with A and they did it alphabetically. And so I was on a boat that I've never had any experience on before with all these people I didn't know. There's two guys who had the same name. It was just a lot of things to take in at once. And I had to lead these people I didn't know on the very first day. And just sometimes just the fear of failure just takes over your mind and makes you really anxious because you want to do a great job. But sometimes you just don't know enough information to yet. So yeah, that was a hard day, but got through it. And I look back and I had so much fun. Martha, do you want to go next?
all right. So last August, I went to Nail at Philmont, and the first day was actually my birthday, August 5th. And one of the days we were hiking out to our outpost. I went as a Sea Scout, by the way. I was like 1 out of 3 there in a blue uniform. This is August in New Mexico, so it was really, really hot and probably wasn't the best choice, but I loved it because I'm a Sea Scout and I love the blue uniform. And we were hiking out to our outpost, and we're in the middle of a sunflower field, and sunflower is my favorite flower. So I was looking at the sunflowers and not down at the ground where there were snakes. And I almost stepped on a rattlesnake. It was like 6 inches from my foot, and my hiking boots do not cover my ankles. And my socks were pushed down, and it could have it could have bitten me. It was that close. It decided not to, which is very good because the nearest hospital was a 45-minute helicopter ride away. But the highlight of the story is what I thought during that moment. Most people in a life to death situation say that their life flashed before their eyes. For me, it was really just a moment of like, seriously, like this is how it's gonna end. Like this is the best that you got, a rattlesnake, really? So that's my most terrifying scouting moment, was almost getting dead at Philmont. Nathan?
Mine's not nearly as serious as that. I remember it was my first time at summer camp, and I was in North Carolina, which is a pretty good drive from Florida. And it was the family night. They had like the family dinner or whatever, and I was like, our campsite was like way in the back of camp, so I was hanging out at like the dining hall, and I like went to use the bathroom or something, and I came out and just everyone was gone, and I was the only person there, and so I was kind of like freaking out. I didn't know where anybody was, and I was like 11 years old, so I wasn't really sure how to get back to the campsite. So I thought my life was over at that point. Then 3 years later, there was a bear in that same campground. So, but that was not as scary as me being lost in a civilized place. So I'll pass it to Jayce.
Ooh, mine is so my troop hosts their own summer camp every year. I'm actually leaving either tomorrow or Saturday to go to it. And one part that my troop does is we go and climb this big rock formation called the Castle. It's out in Wellington Lake. It's about 10,000 feet tall at its peak. And it's got a lot of sheer rock faces. So the first half, all the way up to what we call the base, or the base of the rock formations, is just a steep incline. But once we're at the rock bases, we're going through these tight cracks and all these steep faces. And one of my scariest moments was I was climbing up a steep, slick face. It's got a little crack in the middle of it that you climb up with this dinky little bush tree to hold on to. And my foot slipped and I fell about 20 feet down. And if I'd fallen to the right, it would probably be, 500-600 feet. If I fell to the left, it'd probably be 100 feet. But I fell straight 20 feet down, caught myself on that dinky little bush that's still alive to this day. And yeah, that's my most nervous moment. James?
So I've survived a lot of stupid stuff. I have a very recent thing. I'm not going to talk about that. That is for the Quarterdeck and the Quarterdeck only to know, and maybe some close friends as well. But initially, between honestly a fear of failure at times, between that and being attacked by armadillos on an abandoned island, I don't really know. Honestly, I'd probably go with the armadillos because that felt like Jurassic Park. Anyway, Pascale.
So I really haven't been in scouting that long, but when I was in NYLT, this is going to sound really stupid, but it really scared me because it was very late. I went with my buddy to go to the bathhouse. We were coming back and we heard this really loud rustling noise and we couldn't figure out what it was. And we both had our flashlights off because we didn't want to wake anybody up. We turned it on and there's just an albino skunk staring at us, but we couldn't figure out what it was because it was just there. So we're jumping on the table, like trying to get away from it. We're like, wait, we can't because we're gonna get sprayed. So we're like on the table staring at it, and it's like in the way that we have to go. We're just looking at this albino skunk, and it's looking at us, and we just did not know what to do. So that's my story. That's about all. Harvey?
Well, yeah, those are all really interesting stories. I only have one that I can really think of. But it wasn't really a scouting event so much as it was while I was at work. But again, I said earlier, I think the reason I'm at my work is because of scouting, so I kind of count it. But for those of you that know about Florida wildlife and Florida swamp, there's a lot of dangerous predators. We got gators, we got multiple different varieties of snakes, and we also have Reese macaque monkeys that live in the trees, so that's pretty interesting. But no, my scary moment was a snake story where I was kind of just going through, cleaning up some stuff in the park, and I was going through, and then bam, I see right in front of my feet a big black snake coiled up in front of me, and kind of looks at me, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna back away from this situation, and he kept kind of coming toward me, and so I just kind of left it alone, and we got a ranger to remove it later. But I found out I actually went toe-to-toe with the water moccasin, one of the deadliest snakes there is. So that was fun, very scary. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into I think we can call this our last question, or we have one more. So we'll do two more questions to wrap this up. This one's from Jack again, from ship 846, Cypress, Texas. His question is, how do you run for your regional quarterdeck? I think this is phrased in like, how do you apply?
Can one of our regional bosuns take this on?
I can start off. One way I'm doing it is I'm making a bunch of applications for the different positions. I have 2 positions left actually: Western Region Bosun's Mate of Administration and Area 4 Bosun. Both of those forms are on the Sea Scout Western Region pages. So if you'd like to apply, feel free to do so if you're in my region. But one way we do it is applications and interviews and stuff like that. So James, let you go on.
Yeah, honestly, there are various applications and things you can fill out. Definitely, if you want to start applying for that stuff, definitely make sure you already have a very good foothold in the program itself. Make sure you know people. That really honestly helps make sure that you're putting a very good, giving a very good impression of yourself and your abilities as a leader. But honestly, it's really downloading a PDF file on applications and sending it to the right address and then getting interviewed by youth. And then they will decide, you know what, this is the person who I want to represent us. And that's just for regional bosun. If you want like a job on the regional level, like area, then you get appointed by your area people. You know, if you want to be like a bosun's mate, then you talk to me and explain why you think you should get that job.
Hey, James, if I could just add something real quick before Nathan goes.
Yeah, go ahead.
James did say have a really good foothold in the program, but if you don't, that's okay. Just going through the application process will help you with that and just help you learn so much, not only about yourself, but also about the program and the people that you will be working with eventually if you do get the position. So even if you don't think you have a good shot, go ahead and apply. Just go through the application process, get to meet people. So Nathan?
Yeah, could I lightly add on to that, Nathan? Is that okay with you? Yeah, so fun fact, Nathan and I have only been in Sea Scouts for about a year and a little bit of change. And we're over here, regional bosuns, and part of the national quarterdeck. And, you know, that proves that anything is possible. I started off halfway through the term of area bosun. I officially got it. I did as much work as I could. Granted, it wasn't a whole lot. But then I went through the application process, and once I got elected regional bosun, I put in countless hours of work to, you know, train myself to know what I have to do, you know, what to expect, and, you know, things of that sort. Nathan?
Yeah, so it really is just about reaching out. There's always work to be done. There's always a position to be filled. I mean, you know, I hear you're in Texas. I'm Southern Region Bosun. I need a youth to help run my training. Hit me up, srbosun@cscout.org. Yeah, and it's always good to reach out. You can reach out to your area bosun, or your council bosun if you have one. Those are people you should probably know. And if you don't, your skipper will be able to reach out to the area commodore and get you in contact with the area bosun. So and that's why we use Facebook and social media and stuff. So you have a more direct way to contact them. So if you ever want to do something, like I said, there's always work to be done. Just reach out, ask, just like you did now. Pascale, if you have anything to add, I don't know. All right, then I'll give it to Harvey.
All right, guys, those are really great answers. So, you know, just something to add on myself, you know, when you're applying, don't be disappointed if you don't get the position that you're applying for. You know, like I've applied for different positions, I haven't gotten them, but, you know, it's led me to be, you know, I want to say I'm the youngest member of the quarterdeck. I'm not exactly sure. I'm 16, so anyone else can beat it. Speak up, but otherwise hold your peace. No.
I'm also 16,
no.
Harvey. Thank you.
No, so anyway, my point is, when you're applying, it eventually leads to the greater, better thing, which, you know, for me was becoming the national yeoman after a couple years of applying for different positions, but it didn't quite work out, or, you know, here or there. But you learn a lot of things through the application process, even if you don't get selected for any of the positions while you're in Sea Scouts at all. You will learn how to interview, and for a job later on down the road you might want to have in real life, you know, because this is all practice more or less for real life. You know, go ahead and give that a shot. It's really worth it, guys. Definitely try to go for it. Like Aven was saying, you know, go ahead and try to steer the boat or something to the effect of that. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead to the very last question, which it's not much of a question. No one really posed it as a question, but there was a lot of comments on Facebook about it. They were asking about a possible Sea Scout Jamboree or National Sea Scout event of some substitute. Aven, I'll go ahead and let you comment on this. Anything about a National Sea Scout event in the future?
Yes, actually, one of the goals for my term is to start an initiative to plan a national event. Of course, in the future, we want to have something as big as Venture Fest or NOAC, and so we're kind of starting the road for that. Nathan has actually formed a committee who is already started to plan looking at different locations. That's kind of something we want to keep under wraps for the moment. We're still planning, but just know that it is coming. We want it to happen. If not this summer, next summer. We really want it to happen within the next few years. But I think that something that we've really learned this term is that some things we get to do and some things we're setting it up for the next national quarterdeck. And so there's a lot of things we're working on that we're going to be able to pass on to our processors and they'll be able to take on. This is probably going to be one of those things, but we do have a national committee of youth working towards the goal to a potential national event for Sea Scouts. So just know that we want it and we support it and we hear you and we're planning on it. So Nathan, do you have anything else to add?
Just to keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully, there'll be an official announcement in the coming months. So I've been hard at work with my committee and my advisors for the last 3 months on this thing. So and it still hasn't been announced. So you know it's going to be good,
Nathan, is it cool if I add on?
I guess.
One quick thing for anyone watching, if you're an adult, you can sponsor this to all the ships that you know of. All 4 of the regional bosuns are looking for youth to represent the region. We've all posted on our pages. On the page, it's got more specific information on how to contact us. But if you are a youth who wants a chance to be helping with the National Event Committee, shoot one of the regional bosuns an email and we'll make sure you're in the thought process of who's going to be helping run the national event.
Yeah, it goes for all the regions. I think I'm not sure how the rest of the region bosuns are doing this. I just delegated the task to them to get a representative from their region. Nathan's running this show. I'm supervising, keeping everyone on task, but we are looking for representatives from each region to be on this committee. So if you're interested, yep.
Yeah, and on that note, if you have just any interest in helping out your region, like Jayce was saying earlier, you can connect to your regional bosun. If you're in a Northeast region, get in contact with Pascale, and for any other region bosun. Otherwise, like Nathan's saying, there's always something to be done. And we have youth committees on the national level, and sometimes we have positions open for those. And so it really just depends on what we need in the moment. So if the right person sends the right email at the right time and we have the right spot, we'll make it happen. So just don't be scared to ask. Don't be scared to reach out. And it doesn't have to be on the national or regional level. You can still help out with your council or area. Just don't want to do something and not do anything about it. If you have the passion to help this program, then reach out and do something about it.
Definitely. And so with that, that kind of brings us to a close. And I'm sorry if any of the guests, if we weren't quite able to get to your questions. Most likely, if you're asking them, it's after this panel had closed. But I got to most of the questions that were out there. Like I said, it's a very vast amount of information that I have to go through to get your questions in here. But we got them, and hopefully we answer your questions. But if not, you can always reach out upward and onward and to ask anytime, not just during this panel. But with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Aven for any closing minutes or any thoughts, and we'll go ahead and close out.
Yes, of course. So thank you all for attending tonight, and happy anniversary to Sea Scouts 180th, or oh my gosh, 108th anniversary. That's how you know it's time to end the Zoom. But just happy Sea Scouts Day to everyone. If you want to get plugged in with any of your region bosuns or Martha, myself, Harvey, we all have Instagram accounts. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram. So if you go find the National Sea Scout Bosun or the Sea Scouts BSA account, you can find all the other accounts through those. Get connected. You can ask questions to us through there. Always use email as a resource. We want to help you. We're here to serve you. We're here to support you. So thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to all of you who asked questions, and we hope you just had a great time listening. And with that, I think we'll sign off. So bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.